Healing Light takes you on a journey where you'll explore the nuances of energy. You'll visit the angelic realms and study the ancient wisdom and teachings of spirituality. We want you to reach within and discover the magnificent being that you came here to be. We help shine God's divine healing light by bringing love, light, and blessings into your world. And now, here is the host of Healing Light, Terry Van Horn.
Hello, and welcome to Healing Light. I want to thank everybody who's with us. I know that things are really busy right now, getting up to Christmas, but I'm glad that you're taking out a little bit of time to listen and to celebrate you for a moment. Now, we're going to get into this very quickly because I've got a lot of information to share with you. But one of the first things, though, that I do want to tell you is that you can find out more about me and my services and some of the things that are coming up, which I have some exciting new things coming up for 2016. You can find all of those on my website at healinglightonline.com, or you can find it on Facebook, keywords Healing Light Online. Now, today we're going to talk about awakening the goddess energies. And, this is really all about the divine feminine. But what does it mean when somebody talks about the divine feminine? Sometimes whenever they're talking about it, they're saying that the divine feminine is the way to healing and enlightenment. And then they also can even claim that the divine feminine is about reawakening our world at this time and heralding a return to the higher frequencies of light and thought. So really, what's up with all of this? Now, a lot of people ask, is this a Christian concept? Is it Buddhist, pagan, New Age? Is it part of a religion, or is this simply a spiritual concept? What is the basis of this whole divine feminine concept, and where did it really come from? That's what we're going to talk about today. The answer to this is really fairly simple. The divine feminine is considered to be the goddess energies in all traditions. Almost every tradition, every culture and civilization has a god and a goddess, and that is the divine masculine and the divine feminine. It's been going on since the beginning of time. Now, these traditions, particularly in ancient times, were all mystical and magical, and they were powerful, and they were part of the primal aspect of Mother Earth. It symbolizes the balance, the healing, the renewal, and the restoration of life. Now, we all know that the universe operates in balance, and that's a concept of opposites who are equal in nature, but together they create or form a whole. Now, everything in our lives and in our world is like this. We have dark and light, hot and cold, day and night, hard, soft, positive, negative, and of course, male and female. And it goes on forever. Many cultures subscribe to the concept that there is a duality with God as well. Now, I know that in Christianity, there's only one God. But if you attribute it to the dualities that every other aspect of life has and holds for us, then there could be a duality with our supreme being, with spirit. That we have both a God and a goddess energy ruling the universe is something that many, many cultures since the beginning of time have come to believe. Now, with this, they consider that one is much more structured in the maintenance of the planets, and the other is more focused on nature and creation. Now, together, they worked in perfect balance and harmony, so that they were able to create the heavens and the earth. Now, most refer to the masculine energy as God, as we know him, and the feminine energy either as a goddess, Mother Nature, or Gaia. Now, as humans, we also hold all of these energies within us. Now, sometimes, quite honestly, it can get a little bit crowded. And even though our soul is comprised of male and female energies, that really is the divine masculine and the divine feminine. So we have to hold space for both in our soul and in our life. And in doing that, we're able to maintain a balance as a healthy and functional human being. Now, for everyone, whether we're male or female, the characteristics of the divine male and the divine female are essentially the same. In everyone, the divine feminine is a creative essence. She's all about receiving and surrender. She's fully vibrant, and she's a source of inspiration. She's like that little spark of light that gets things going. And she is fully in her emotions and completely compassionate. She's also unconditional love, nurturing, and healing. She's about intuition, feeling, and expression. Now, the divine masculine is all about consciousness, providing the structures and the safety for the feminine and everyone. He's a builder and creator of things. He provides focus and intention to fulfill desires and the wishes of others. The divine masculine is all about logic, reason, and control. He is strength, power, and courage. The way that I explain it a lot of times to people is that the divine masculine is your perfect corporate person, your perfect business person. And the divine feminine is the ultimate mom, the earth mother. Now, what's really important is that each of us holds an equal share of these qualities, and we need to keep them in balance. Now, today we're going to focus on the divine feminine, or as some refer to her as the sacred feminine. Now, for the past 2,000 years or so, we've lived in civilizations that have focused on the divine masculine. Our society has praised qualities that are strong leadership, logic, reason, materialism. There's been some violence, but there's also strength, power, control, rules, boundaries, and of course, control and ego. Now, that is absolutely not saying that all of the divine masculine is bad or evil, but when it is the dominant feature in a person or a society, it can be destructive, just like having the divine feminine out of balance can be destructive. But this is how our society is today. We are so overloaded on the divine masculine aspect that we need to get back into balance. Now, prior to this, in ancient civilizations, we had many of them that focused on the divine feminine. They had women as political and as spiritual leaders. And they focused on the softer side of things, a little bit more on feelings, emotions, and nature. These societies advanced really, really well. They functioned extremely well, just as the male-dominated ones can. But when there were times of conflict, then the male-dominated societies pretty much won out. So now it's time for a reversal. We have had enough of this type of system, and we need to get things back into balance. What we need to do is to focus on the divine feminine and to embrace it. Whether we're male or female, it really doesn't matter. And this is how we're going to heal our planet, because we need to bring these gentler energies forth into the planet, just as we originally did back on Lemuria when we were focusing on nature and intuition, which is feminine. And then we had our sister island, Atlantis, focusing on technology and control, which was the masculine. Now, we kind of know how all that played out and how that story ends. Atlantis ended up destroying the world as we knew it at that time because of their ultimate search for control and domination of the planet. Those in Lemuria were focusing on connecting and bonding with nature, as well as connecting with each other through our intuitive abilities. We were complete and total opposites. And together, we created a whole planet at the time. But the problem was we were on opposite sides of the planet, and we needed to be together to really work together on this. But unfortunately, most humans tend to lean one way or the other. We're either going to be heavier on the masculine or heavier on the feminine side. Either way causes an imbalance, and it prevents us from being an equal human being or an equal society. Now, this is something that each one of us needs to correct internally. Society has enforced and encouraged the traits of the divine masculine over the centuries. So what we need to do is to start awakening that divine inner goddess, the divine feminine, the sacred feminine within us. As women, we need to get out there and really set an example to the world of what it looks like to fully embody and to express ourselves. It's time that those of us who were born female to get out there and to release our resistance to our own gender and to begin to embrace and express our feminine essence. Women have been in resistance to the divine feminine within themselves for entirely too long. And just like human society has been resistant to having the divine feminine in more of a power situation. So the dimension that we're living in right now is one that's designed for purpose and change and expansion. And in this dimension, expansion is going to be the byproduct of contrast. This is a dimension of duality. And when we get back from our break, we're going to talk about it and how we can start making some changes.
This is OTR-FM, part of the IOM radio network.
Om Times Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. Om Times, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Hi, this is Sylvia Henderson, intuitive life coach and energy healer. Are you ready to elevate and rise way above your normal? Be sure to listen to my show, Intuitive Transformations, on Om Times Radio, Sunday evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern. Get the inspiration you need to transform your life.
Hi, this is Angela Levesque, host of Entanglement Radio. Join me Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern for inspiring conversations with visionaries in spiritual science and conscious healing. Entanglement Radio, Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern. Transcendent talk for the conscious mind.
Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. Om Times Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single Om Times endeavor. Host your show with Om Times Radio Network.
This is OTR-FM, part of the IOM radio network.
We're talking about divine feminine energy. When we are completely out of balance, what happens is we start digressing away from spirit. And you've seen the results. You know what it's like out there in the world today because we have pulled away from spirit. And when this happens, we can see the two polar energies arising. And, these energies are considered to be like the god and goddess, or the yin and yang. The goddess represents the divine feminine. The god represents the divine masculine. And on a manifested level, this translates into a physical man or a physical woman. But there's more to it than that, because the divine feminine energy represents the aspects within the universe of restoration, life, renewal, creation, birth, healing, receptivity, openness, motherhood, nurturing, love, understanding, compassion, insight, intuition, wisdom, forgiveness, the moon, connection, harmony, and sensuality. Now, to allow that divine feminine within ourselves to surface, we need to search for some of these aspects within ourselves. When we do, we'll find that we actually are much more in touch with some of these than we thought. We might be in touch with different aspects of our lives on a feminine nature. Some women are more in touch with their sensuality. Others are more in touch with creativity, some with motherhood, and it's okay. We all have different levels, but the main thing is that we just need to connect with it as much as possible. It's really understandable how in today's world, so many of us have suppressed these energies so that we can cope with modern day life. It's really difficult to focus on love, kindness, compassion, and nurturing when we have to get out there and have a competitive career in a traditional workplace. But see, what happens is that our health depends on making the space in our lives to allow these qualities to surface, and we've been stifling them. Our womanhood is unique. Every woman is a very unique and special expression of the divine feminine. And when we come into alignment with it, then it's not about conforming to what an ideal or a concept of divine feminine is. It's about being the best person that we can be. It's about releasing the things that are preventing our own unique feminine essence from radiating through us. We have to reclaim who we already are. There's nothing new about us. We just have to bring it back out. So many of us have built our lives and our image either in resistance to the traditional ideal of what a female should be, or in support of that traditional ideal and concept. Now, this can be a problem because neither one is really our true self. Neither one lets us be who we truly are. Because rather than being genuine to our true feelings regarding our identity, we feel like we have to mold ourselves to the expectations. We have to do the things that are contrary to who we are, because that's what we're expected to do with the traditional role. We shouldn't expect anyone to follow that traditional role of the divine feminine. Some people just don't fit into that. Some women, I grew up in an era where women spent all of their time at home cooking and baking, cleaning house, cleaning up after breakfast, cleaning up after dinner, doing laundry. That's all they did, cook and clean. That wasn't me. That's not who I am. Doesn't mean that I was less of a wife or a mom, but I enjoyed being in the workplace. I enjoyed being out to create. And so, I did both. So you have to do it and honor who you are and not feel guilty about what your choice or your direction is. We need to embrace who we are. So, how do we embrace the divine feminine? Allow yourself to create. Women are natural creators. This is one of the reasons why we can create life. That's what we're here for. And when we're out of touch with our divine feminine, then we don't allow ourselves to create. And one of the best ways to awaken our creative energies and our divine feminine is to do something creative, whether it is gardening or art, painting, whatever it is, baking, whatever it is that you enjoy doing on a creative level, do that because it will benefit you and it will help you tap into those energies. Now, another one is to collaborate and come together with other women. Get in to the fold, come out of isolation. If you've been resistant to who you are as a woman and your divine feminine, it's better to connect with other women so that you can share and support each other. So many cultures in our ancient world did this, and the women were just so supportive of each other and so loving rather than being competitive and combative. So there's no right way or no wrong way to do this, but it is a wonderful way to heal when we connect with others. Connect with your sensuality. The divine feminine is known as beauty incarnate. And this means that you need to take time to appreciate and celebrate beauty in your life. It's time to really see and express yourself in a sensual way. Surround yourself with things that are beautiful, that are aesthetically pleasing to you. Allow yourself to enjoy sensual pleasures, whether it's a bubble bath or perfumes or oils, a really soft, silky dress or blouse. Wear that frilly dress or those heels. Surround yourself in color. Enjoy and embrace girl time. Get to know yourself as a strong and independent woman, someone who is not a wife, not a mother, but who is me. That's the person you need to get to know and that you need to express. Now, here's a big one. Explore, question, and heal your ideas and feelings towards motherhood and towards your own mother. Oh, this is such a tough one. It doesn't matter whether or not you want to be a mom. Some of us still have unhealthy feelings about that. And we can be in a state of resistance about it. Or we may feel that it's the only thing that justifies our existence. And neither one of those are very productive, and they're certainly not supportive. Our very first introduction to the divine feminine was through our own mother. Now, many of us have mother issues. And if we have resistance to our mother, we have resistance to the divine feminine within us. And I would say that is like the majority of women that I know. And because of this, one of the most important parts of coming into your own feminine essence is to examine and heal the relationship between us and our mothers. Now, for some of us, this is a huge condition. This is big. But don't just panic and run away at this point, okay? It doesn't mean you have to reconnect with them. You don't have to be best friends. You don't have to hang out together. As a matter of fact, our mothers don't even have to be alive, or we don't have to see them in order to heal the relationship with them. But what we need to do is to separate ourselves from our mother so that we can let go of all of those damaging ideas, feelings, and emotions that they passed on to us so that we can set ourselves free. And once we distance ourselves mentally and emotionally from them, we can learn to be ourselves, and then we can make peace. Once we do that, we can embody the divine feminine within us. Forgiveness plays such a huge role in this whole healing process. Forgive your mother as well as yourself. Now, if it helps in the separation process, stop referring to this person as, quote, my mother. Refer to her by her first name. You will be amazed how much this really helps on that whole separation aspect, and it will help you speed up your healing and your own growth process. Now, we also need to examine the perception of being a woman in our family and our culture. examine what we learned while we were growing up in our family, what we saw, and, what we were taught about what it meant to be female. Most women, it's makeup, high heels, dresses, having kids, raising them, cooking, cleaning, caretaking, allowing men to be in control of, our lives, our homes, having hobbies, but not a career, self-sacrificing, all that kind of stuff. But, the traditional 50s housewife is gone, okay? She is off having a business career now, and she should not feel guilty for it. There are a lot of women who stay home with their families, and they enjoy that. And that's great. As I said, I didn't really fit in with all those expectations. And I remember a conversation when I was in high school talking about going to college. And I was told, literally, that I needed to go to college to get an MRS degree. And I didn't know what that was. And I was told, Mrs., getting married, that's what I needed to worry about. And then I can maybe go be a secretary. And, that was devastating to me. But think about what your family and what your culture tell you about being female. And you access the amazing part of being a female that works for you. Do not feel guilty and, embrace it. It's a wonderful way to live. You don't have to have the career and love it. You don't have to be at home making cookies all the time and love it. What you need to do is to be your authentic self. And that is going to be the best for you, your children, and your family. Now, when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about ways to connect with your divine feminine and things that we can do to help save the world.
You're listening to OTR FM, part of the IOM Radio Network.
As difficult as it is to believe, there are places in Africa where human traffickers sell albino children and their body parts for use in magic rituals. Humanity Healing International is actively working in Uganda to change this paradigm. The Albino Rescue Project finds albino children who are at risk and places them in safe schools and environments where they can learn and grow free from fear. To learn more or to sponsor a child, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is.
Hello, I'm Sandy Sedgbeer, host of the Inspired Parenting radio show, where every week we bring you empowering information from the diverse fields of conscious parenting, education, neuroscience, consciousness, health, and metaphysics to support you in nurturing the best in your children. So if you're interested in understanding what shapes your children's minds, spirits, and hearts, join me every Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and prepare to be inspired.
Join Elliot Jolish, the business therapist, each Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern for the Elliot Jolish Hour, as he interviews business experts on your behalf. And you're invited to email your business questions to questions@ecjgroup.com for answers, live, on air every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern on the Elliot Jolish Hour. Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of Om Times Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of Om Times. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
You're listening to OTR FM, part of the IOM Radio Network.
This is Terry Van Horn, and you're listening to Healing Light, and we're talking about awakening the divine, sacred feminine energies. Now, another way that you can really get this going is to get in touch with your intuition. Listen to those emotions. You know, a woman who's run by logic is a woman that's going to be profoundly out of touch with the divine feminine within her, because that's not how we're created. Womanhood is a receptive state of being. And being receptive means taking down those walls that we've built around ourselves. Receptivity is a state of profound openness, and part of what comes with that openness is being receptive to what is beyond the physical dimension. Now, we really do need to cultivate this openness, love, compassion, and gentleness towards the world and towards ourselves. This isn't just about everybody else. We have to do it for us, most of all. Because if we can't, then we can't share love with others. In our society, we work so hard and we push ourselves so much every day that sometimes it doesn't even seem that we have the space or the energy for this in our lives. But a lot of women are developing illnesses and diseases like breast cancer because of this. We're actually dying because we are denying ourselves this essence of who we are. Our delicate biochemistry can't keep up with what we're doing to it. We have to make a change. Now, that doesn't mean that, we're just so delicate we can't handle anything. It's just that we are going against who we are. So let's try something. Let's choose 3 things that you can change in your day-to-day life that would allow these energies to come through. Maybe call a friend once a week just to chat and practice listening with compassion and without judgment. That's a big one. How often do we do that? Or commit to doing one loving thing for yourself each day. Get a pedicure, go to sleep early instead of, working on something. Do something to nurture you. It doesn't have to be huge. Trust yourself to know what would benefit you the most. Because the main thing is to loosen that perception that you have to be in charge or in control of everything. That's a divine masculine trait. We need to be open to receiving assistance. Now, it doesn't mean that we can't handle things ourselves. What it does mean is that we're evolved enough to allow others the opportunity to assist us, because they have to do that to grow as well. Now, in doing this, what we're doing is giving ourselves a break and letting someone else have the experience of helping. And this will also help us so that we can open up to receiving more from the universe. Now, we can also do meditations that are aimed specifically for connecting to the divine feminine. Now, there are no rules, the right way or wrong way to do this. You can do it any way you want, or you can find hundreds of meditations online. The important thing is to do it. Now, let's examine our resistance to being female on the spiritual, mental, and physical and societal level. Now, resistance is used actually from an energetic standpoint. The energy behind this being a negative emotion. Do you have resistance relative to your reproductive system and all that it entails? I know sometimes we do because it's not real positive. Do we have resistance relative to being a wife or a mother? Do we have a resistance relative to our body, our breast, or wearing makeup, not wearing makeup? Do we have resistance relative to any aspect of your life that you identify as female? That you have something in the way of the divine feminine within you. So here's an example. You don't have to wear dresses to embrace the divine feminine, but you are suppressing the divine feminine as long as you associate dresses with being female and continue to harbor resistance to wearing dresses. So think about it and, find your core beliefs about this and really dig down to see what the resistance is so that you can understand it more and you can work on it. Now, another thing that I have learned through the years is that there can be a resistance to being feminine in the case of injuries. When you manifest a lot of injuries, And it doesn't have to be anything major, okay? It can be minor injuries. But do you do it more on one side of your body as opposed to the other? Pay attention to this, because the right side is the masculine side that holds the masculine energy. The left side is the feminine energy. So if you keep injuring your left side, as I did for a very large portion of my life, it could be a rejection of your divine feminine nature. You will also find that women who were born to parents who did not want a girl, but who wanted a boy, will end up injuring the left side of their body a lot because they are denying and resenting being female. And that brings us back to our body. Embrace it. Our culture has really been at war with the female body. And that makes us personally at war with our own bodies. Now, you're not going to believe it, but a woman can be beautiful and feminine and wear a size larger than a 2. I know that's amazing, but it's true. Divine feminine expresses itself physically in many wonderful, unique ways. Beautiful women come in all sizes, shapes, and forms. They can be girly, they can be over professional, they can be kind of tomboyish. Just because somebody chooses to wear t-shirt, jeans, and boots as opposed to like heels, dresses, and a lot of makeup doesn't mean that they're not feminine. It means that they're honoring who they are, and that's a big deal. The thing is, if you're resisting the parts of your body that make you female, you're resisting the divine feminine in your life, and you're creating an imbalance. So we need to be willing to heal all these negative emotions so that we can set that femininity within us free. We don't have to create this. We already have it. It is us. We have all the divine feminine characteristics that we could possibly need. We just have to let them out. We need to let go of those things that are emotionally blocking us and holding us and suppressing this energy so that we can be who we are. It's time to stop suppressing this energy. We need to embrace it and to let it shine, because there is nothing more beautiful or more stunning than a woman who fully embraces herself for who she is. Now, we also need to talk about the divine or the sacred feminine with society. A lot of times we're told that with this whole new time and this new age that's on us, that we need to look to guidance to see where we need to be. And, it's like, where's the guidance coming from? Well, we're told now that the sacred feminine is that guidance, that we have to make changes to get away from that divine masculine and more into the divine feminine. We don't really need to be told how we're supposed to act. We know what we're supposed to do, and we're supposed to bring love and light. The feminine, as we spoke about a little bit earlier, really does hold the mystery of creation. This is a very simple and a primordial truth that's quite often overlooked. But right now, we are at a time of crisis all over the world. And it's also carrying the seeds of a global transformation. All we have to do is to reawaken to the spiritual power and the potential of the divine sacred feminine. These feminine qualities belong to both men and women, and they draw us to the depths within us and into those mysteries of the soul where wisdom is sometimes referred to as Gaia or Mother Nature. Without this feminine energy, nothing new can be born, and nothing new can come into existence. And we'll just remain caught in this materialistic image of life that's been busy polluting our planet and destroying our souls. We need to return to the core of our being, to where our sacred comes in to existence. And the beautiful, divine, sacred feminine holds the key to this transformation. You know, when things shifted a little bit with early civilizations, we kind of let go of the divine feminine, and then the divine masculine was the God that we sent up into the heavens. And because of this, we lost touch with the sacredness of the earth and its many forms of life. Now we're finally becoming much more conscious and aware of this imbalance and the danger that's being caused by the rejection of the divine feminine. And because of this, we're seeing our entire planet and the people and animals on it suffer the abuses from the technology. Now, at the same time, there are a lot of patterns of repression of the divine feminine. And women have to confront this individually and as a collective to help let go of the abuse and the pain. You know, the masculine power has been responsible for some of this feminine suffering because we've just been out of balance. So we need to bring it back up, reinstate the divine feminine, so that we can restore the sacredness of a nurturing and all-embracing divinity. God's masculine omnipotence and transcendence needs to be balanced by the feminine aspects of care, compassion, and nearness. Now, these things bring deep feelings, and the sacred feminine gets involved with all of it and with all aspects of life because she feels deeply about every situation that she finds herself in. You know, this can bring up some really deep and powerful feelings of sorrow or joy, and women are able to express that. The sacred feminine understands this, and she takes care of it. She holds the space for miracles to happen. And we're going to talk about some of those when we get back from our break. So stay close by.
You're listening to OTR-FM, part of the IOM Radio Network.
Om Times Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. Om Times, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Hello, I'm Miriam Knight of New Consciousness Review, inviting you to my new show where I interview the rising stars of the conscious awakening. We'll explore the many faces of consciousness and action and intriguing perspectives on life, the universe, and everything in between. Join us each Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern on the Rising Stars Show.
Want to be a better communicator? Do you want to better connect with the important people in your life? Do you want to enrich your relationships? If so, join me, Matthew Cooper, on the Positive Control System Show every Wednesday evening at 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Om Times Radio. I'll meet you there.
Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of Om Times Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of Om Times. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
You're listening to OTR-FM, part of the IOM Radio Network.
Sacred feminine energies. You know, the Native American were really familiar with the caring and all-embracing aspect of the divine feminine. They had the experiences of oneness that are so central and important to the spiritual path, and that includes every aspect of creation. One of the first mystical experiences that people have is a sense of divine presence and the knowledge of God's tenderness and closeness with devotion and practice. We seek and find the Spirit's name in everything and everyone. And the practice of connecting with the presence of God is essential for the divine feminine, particularly now. In our meditation and in our daily life, we're able to find, what our culture has forgotten. We can hear the sacred song of the divine presence in the market and in our hearts. But we also feel the sorrow of a society that's dominated by a collective sense of divine absence. The sacred feminine sees the divine essence in everything and everyone, even if they don't. She can remind them of the truth of their being just by the way she treats them and just by the way she nourishes them and reminds them of who they are. Truly, our guidance comes from Mother Earth because her spirit will reign true in everything that we see, hear, and touch. She's our guidance. She's our roadmap, and getting close to her will help remind us and open our memory to the sacred feminine within us. This is a beautiful teaching of the Native Americans, and it's not a denial of God as we know him. It's getting to know him on a different and a much more personal nature because we're embracing the other half of his energy and of his spirit. When we see the divine within all things and all people, we can't destroy. We try to transform and resolve and repair. We don't blame. We seek to understand. We don't hate. We empathize. It's really not that hard. We're reaching a balance. All we have to do is recognize the truth, and that is that all of life is divine. This really is the secret of the divine, sacred feminine. This divine feminine is our primary force of life on this planet. And if we don't utilize the love, the nurturing, the understanding, and the kindness of the divine feminine within all of us, we won't survive. We need this essence to return balance to our world, to our bodies, and to our personal lives. We need to remember her ways because these ways of the divine feminine will help us so that we can expand our conscious awareness and focus on global issues. We need this pure, unconditional loving energy to lead us and to teach us so that we can find new ways to resolve old issues and enter into peaceful coexistence with each other. The life force of the divine feminine is the spark that's going to help us ignite a much deeper spiritual, technological, and biological transformation. Her sustainability is going to be our survival. So how can all of us, male and female, connect to the divine, sacred feminine energies? There are a lot of ways we can do this, and we're going to touch on a few of them. Connect with Mother Earth or Mother Nature. When we connect with the earth, we become grounded, focused, centered. And when we do that, we can reach spiritual heights that we never could before. Mother Earth really heals us. Use pink Himalayan salt lamps. Now, these activate the divine feminine within, and they purify the air, create negative ions, and help reduce the harmful electromagnetic fields that are around us. They help support an unlifted mood. Experiment with an oracle deck. I prefer angel oracle cards, but some people prefer tarot. This is a great way to connect with your angels and guides and to get you tapped into it because our intuition is part of the divine feminine. Tap into the healing power of crystals. Kunzite is a beautiful, loving pink crystal that really resonates with the heart chakra and helps us open up for emotional healing and create that divine love. Rose quartz is another one. These are fantastic stones for this. Tune into the lunar cycle. Ancient cultures did this. Pay attention to where the moon is in her transit. And, kind of get a little bit more familiar with it. When you pay attention to it, you'll know when the new moon occurs and how to respond, which is setting intentions, being quiet, going inward. When the moon is full, then we have amplified energy, manifestation of intentions, and high vibrational frequencies. And when we pay attention to the solstices and the equinoxes and the eclipses and all the astrological influences, it can really deepen our connection to the sacred feminine. Doesn't mean we're worshiping the moon. It means that we're paying attention to things that actually are kind of important. Practice self-care. Take care of yourself. Do something occasionally that treats you. Take a salt bath. Now, a lot of people use Epsom salt. I like to do it with Himalayan salt with a little bit of Moldavite. And it is just a divine experience. Do that, or just kick back and, take some time off in the evening, have some tea, read a book, do something to relax, get out into nature. Celebrate the beauty in everything. Beauty is everywhere you go, but you need to choose to see it. So embrace the beauty and the joy in everything that you see and do, because the world really is a beautiful and very magical place. Construct altars. You can have an altar that has, crystals, trinkets, jewelry, stones, candles, whatever feels right to you. Then also, not only is it wonderful and helps with the energy that is in your area, but it also helps remind you, hey, let's go over here and pray or meditate for a moment. Now, connect with your divine purpose. Everybody has a divine purpose to fulfill that we came here to do. When we go into prayer and meditation, connecting with our own spirit and our guides, we can discover what that is. We need to let go of addictive and limiting behaviors. This is a big one. Everybody has them. We all do. It's not all about, alcohol, drugs, nicotine, things like that. It can be gossip, negative thoughts, excessive shopping and spending, all sorts of things. Something that shows that you're out of balance. So let's discover them, heal them, so that you can have mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional wholeness. Banish the ego. Wisdom and guidance will come from within through our soul and our guides and our angels. And we need to let go of the ego's needs. Quit worrying about what everybody else thinks. Just connect with your guidance and go with it. Maintain a balance in your life. The sacred divine feminine energy, our soul energy, is a necessity for balancing, restoring, and bringing transformational healing to each one of us as well as the planet. And we need to integrate these principles with the divine masculine principles to restore balance, to bring healing, and to invoke transformation for us all. Embrace your wounded warriorness. We're all wounded. And these wounds and hurts can become some of our greatest gifts of service to others. And it can be a primary foundation to help us manifest our own divine purpose. If and only if we fully embrace it, grieve, and seek healing. Our gifts of service will help us use these wounds to help others go through the exact same experience. So use these divine sacred energies. Connect with them. Male or female, we all need them. We've all been in this dog-eat-dog world where everybody has been focusing so much on the masculine that we've been letting go of the feminine. And, we don't need to go over too far on the feminine side either, because we just get, too flighty, too emotional, and, we're just all over the place. We need to create that balance. So work on this. I have a wonderful meditation that I use to help balance the male and the female energies within you. So do this. If you don't want to get one from someone, create one yourself. And that will help you to really use the best of these energies and the best of both worlds to create your perfect life. So I want to thank you for being with us tonight. And remember that if you can't always get our programs live, you can always access them in our archives. And you can do that on our website at healinglightonline.com or here on Om Times Radio. Now, next Wednesday, we're going to talk about New Year's predictions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you opportunities on my Facebook page, Healing Light Online. You can write your questions down, and I will give you answers for the coming year. Also, you can always find me on Learn It Live for classes every Tuesday evening. Thanks again for being with us. I wish you much love, light, and many, many blessings. Namaste.